Content, Reading, and Writing, Pre-Reading and During Reading by Tyler O'Bannon, Lindsay Racklin, and Jennifer Swart. Content area subjects are subjects like math, science, and social studies. Content-based instruction, also known as CBI, integrates language learning opportunities with these content areas. After grade school, students are required to read and write about increasingly complex topics in increasingly sophisticated ways. This is really hard for most English language learners. Research is usually limited on second language students' abilities to read, write, and learn from text. Instead, most teachers use research and discussion that falls under the Sheltered English Instruction, also known as SDAIE. SDAIE helps facilitate both language and subject matter learning. It does so by building on students' prior knowledge, making use of direct experiences, creating opportunities for students to collaborate, and providing explicit strategies to help students use oral and written language for learning. When a reader takes an efferent stance to the text, the central purpose is to carry away information. On the other hand, aesthetic reading is supposed to provoke feeling from the reader, almost like they're experiencing the text themselves. Text structure also can help ELL students better understand what is happening in the text. One good example of this is called attributive pattern. This pattern has one main idea and is followed by its supporting details. It uses words such as first, also, and another to give context clues to the student. Other patterns that help ELL students comprehend and remember text are compare-contrast, problem-solution, and cause and effect. The words that signal these patterns are called cohesive ties, and each one is important to understand for ELLs to fully comprehend the text that they're reading. In any class, students vary in their ability to read and write academic material independently. We as teachers should help match students to text appropriate for their learning level. Some teachers choose to use readability formulas to do this. These aren't effective, though, because the formulas are based solely on sentence and word length of the text. They don't give an accurate measure of the student's ability to actually read the text. Other teachers use closed procedures, where words are systematically left out of a text and the student tries to replace it. This isn't always effective either, and especially frustrates ELL students. Instead, a good way to match students with text is by using a group reading inventory, also known as a GRI. The GRI allows the teacher to evaluate the student's reading based upon text and type of assignments given. It can be specifically adapted for individuals so that the teacher gets immediate feedback and can make adaptations so all students can be successful. Many students read text passively, waiting for information to present and organize itself for them. Proficient readers, though, know what they are looking for, engage their background knowledge while reading, and monitor achievement based on their purpose. For ELL students, try to choose strategies that make use of graphs, pictures, drama, and any other use of paralinguistic cues to meeting. This will give them experience with vocabulary and help them keep up and stay interested. It's also very important to incorporate peer support to help beginners glean information from text. This will also help ELL students feel like they're part of the class. It's very important that ELL students, especially the beginners, feel welcome in the classroom and feel involved. Using reading and writing strategies with these characteristics goes a long way to achieving both of these. There are many different pre-reading strategies that teachers can use with their students before reading text. These strategies should develop motivation, develop purpose, and develop background knowledge. Some examples of pre-reading strategies are anticipation guides, field trips, structured overviews, films, experiments, and pictures. We'll touch on a couple pre-reading strategies later in the PowerPoint. There are also some strategies that teachers should use with their children during reading. These strategies should monitor comprehension. They should find a purpose for the student to read, and they should engage background knowledge. Some examples of during reading strategies are learning logs, annotating text, directed thinking reading activities, also known as DRTAs, asking questions, using headings and subheadings, and answering questions. We'll also touch on at least one during reading strategy later in the PowerPoint. One effective pre-reading learning strategy is a preview guide. Preview guides can give students an overview of the important ideas in a text because they help determine how to preview the reading. A preview guide typically shows students how to read the titles, headings, subheadings, and summaries in a book. By reading these, ELL students gain a sense of a text's content, and they begin to set a purpose for their reading. For example, by reading a summary, your students become aware of what they should know before they even begin reading the text. This is a very effective pre-reading strategy. Another very effective type of pre-learning strategy that a teacher can use with their students is an anticipation guide. Anticipation guides help to motivate students and help them predict what's going to happen in a text. Anticipation guides usually invite students to state their opinion or predict something about the main ideas or themes in a story or in an essay before they read it. For the students, it's usually neat to go back after they're done reading and compare their views or predictions that they had before to their new prediction or their new views of the story after reading it. In effect, anticipation guides can help motivate students to read a passage, as well as assist them with setting a purpose and monitoring for purpose during reading. Anticipation guides also really enhance the chance that an ELL student, or for that matter any other student, comprehends the text that they are reading. While there are many effective during reading strategies, there is one strategy that combines during reading and pre-reading. This is called directed reading thinking activities. These activities occur when teachers ask students about the text when they were just getting ready to be read. Since expository texts usually contain headings and subheadings, it's easier to use these to determine when and where to ask key questions. An effective way to use DRTA is to first model the reading. Then, show the students how to create questions using the headings and subheadings in the reading. After that, have the students make up questions based on the headings. Finally, have them compare their questions and come up with answers as a group. In this simple strategy alone, the teacher has prepared the students to read the text further. You've activated their background knowledge about the text by simply asking questions. You've also shown them how to anticipate and predict what the reading talks about by using headings. You've also shown the students it is appropriate to make guesses about something they'll read. Finally, you've prepared them to monitor their understanding. Thus, DRTA combines aspects of pre-reading activities and questioning procedures to assist students' comprehension overall. Learning logs, sometimes known as journals, are a completely during-reading strategy. Learning logs are a great way to facilitate learning. They are an excellent metacognitive learning tool in the during-reading phase. These logs require students to formulate questions about what they're learning or what might be difficult while reading. Using learning logs, students may write specific notes concerning a passage in a text, a formula, or experiment, or even a period of history. As you review student logs, you can identify concepts that you may need to clarify or reteach. In addition, learning logs provide an excellent and natural way to evaluate a student's progress. Most importantly, these logs provide students with a way to both assess their own learning and get help from you. This strategy especially helps ELL students because it helps them get their opinions, misconceptions, and the knowledge that they've gained all on the same sheet of paper. In order to differentiate instruction for content area readings, you first need to consider each student's English proficiency and general literacy abilities in relation to your content area standards and your curriculum materials. After that, you should consider the content area standards for your specific grade level. Then, evaluate your content text against your students' ability to read and learn from the content text. Remember, one good way to do this is to conduct a GRI, as in earlier in the slides. As you review your lesson plans, you should build in ways for less proficient English learners to understand the material and also for your struggling readers to gain from their reading. Sheltering strategies are definitely essential here. The hardest part is keeping your advanced students interested and challenged while still tending to your struggling students. With your content materials on hand, you're now ready to use the pre-reading and during-reading strategies of your choice. To sum up the chapter, the pre-reading and during-reading phases of reading and writing across the curriculum are absolutely crucial. If students don't develop a clear purpose for reading, they will not be efficient content area readers. In addition, they will not be able to monitor their comprehension if they aren't clear about what they should be learning. The pre-reading phase of reading and writing prepares students for the during-reading phase. The main responsibility of the students in the during-reading phase is to assess or monitor their comprehension based on their purpose for reading. They also help students keep track of information that they may want to present later to others. As a final step, students must consider how they will organize the information so that it will be remembered. That's all for the chapter on pre-reading and during-reading phases of reading and writing across curriculum.